Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ram. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the class. Hope you all are doing well. So, this is our third lecture in business environment, right? So, let's start. We have already completed our first unit, and today we are going to start our second unit, right? I think my screen is visible to everyone, right? So, let's start. Today's topic is economic, political, and legal environment. Okay. As you all know that in previous class, we have studied components of business environment. Components of business environment is consist of internal and external, right? Internal environment means that environment which is within the organization that is in your control. You can control the workings are in within the organizations, right? And external environment which is influenced and affected by the external source that is from outside the organization. It consists of micro and macro, right? In macro, except macro environment, in external environment, it consists of two parts. First is micro and second is macro, right? The macro part is wider and it affected in large sector, right? In wider way it affects. So for here it is now what we are going to study in this unit is macro, external macro environment part, right? So first is economic, political, and legal environment. In today's class, we will complete these three environment types. Let's start. Political environment. First, role of government and business. How the government affects our business. Technically, every individual is running his or her own business, right? But it does it doesn't mean that external factor or government will not affect you. Government role will definitely affect your business. How? Let's talk. The government plays a crucial role in business through its regulatory, facilitating, and supervisory functions. Okay? How it affects your business? By regulations, by facilities, by supervising. This what is regulatory role? Setting rules and regulations. Government creates laws and regulations, right? That must be followed by the businessman. If you don't follow the laws and regulations of your country, you will be failed or you will be disqualified from the market and you have to pay penalties by misleading the law, right? You all are well aware of this. So what government role is to create the laws and regulations so that decorum should be maintained, no offensive steps should be taken, or no misleading in the market, right? So, like rules like taxation rules, labor laws, environmental regulations, competition law, trade policies. You all are well aware of this word GST. Before GST, VAT was applicable. After demolishing VAT, GST is applicable, right? So every businessman what is GST, what is the purpose of GST, what and how the working of GST will affect their business. So it was a very difficult for them initial stage. It was very difficult to accept the GST law, but it was a mandatory part. You cannot ignore we will not pay GST and we will do our business without paying GST. No, you are just boycotting the laws and rules regulations which is given by the government of our country. So it is very important whatever rules and regulations set by the government, you have to follow anyhow, no matter that is will going to benefit you or not, right? So first is setting rules and regulations. Second, licensing. There are some business for which you have to take permission, you have to take a license from the government to start a particular business, like telecommunication, mining, utilities, arms, alcohol, right? There are some kinds of specific business for which you have to take the permission from the government of your country. Okay, for that you need a license which is given by the government of India. Next, antitrust laws. There are some laws which helps to prevent the monopolies and ensure fair competition. Government enact antitrust laws to avoid the concentration of power in one entity or a small group of entities. You know the meaning of monopoly? Monopoly means when one seller and many buyers. In the market, there is only one seller and you have to purchase that particular product from that seller only. There is no other alternative substitute available in the market. That is called monopoly, right? Monopoly market. So government's role here is to prevent the unfair competition. It ensures that fair competition is in the market. It doesn't mean he ensures that antitrust law should be applicable so that public will not be harmed in any manner. Okay, so these are the basic three regulatory roles that government plays and affects your business, right? First is setting rules and regulations. Second, licensing and permits. Third, antitrust law. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the chat box or raise your hands, right? Sachin, please text. You have any doubt? Please mention in the chat box. The students who have just raised their hand, please let me know what are the issues. Voice is perfect, right? Antitrust law. My voice is breaking, right? Some students are texting the voice is clear, some are texting voice is not clear. The ones who are getting any issue regarding voice, please refresh or restart or rejoin the class. Some students mentioned about monopoly market, right? Monopoly. Monopoly means that in the market, only one seller is available. For example, and many buyers. Example, railway. If you want a service of rail, you have to purchase a railway ticket from government railways, right? There is no other substitute available. You have to book your ticket by IRCTC app or you will go offline in the railway station, right? Second, some students had mentioned antitrust law. Antitrust law means that government want to ensure that whatever monopoly market exists in your country should do fair competition. there should not be any unfair competition prevailing in your country, right? So it ensures that there should be proper law and order followed. Public will not get in harm in any way, in any aspect, right? The ones who asked me these two topics, now your doubt is clear. Let me know, please, so that we move further. Okay, fine. Let's move. Next, facilitating role. Infrastructure development. Government invests in infrastructures like roads, ports, communication, networks, which are critical for business to operate efficiently, right? If, for example, let us assume that in your country, if the roads are not proper, you have not a proper infrastructure like roads or are not having a good communication networks in your country, it will be very difficult to operate a business, right? So it is very important that a country should provide, government should provide us proper infrastructure facilities so that the business operation should run efficiently. Okay. Next, fiscal and monetary policies. There are two policies that are running in a country like India, that was fiscal and monetary. Monetary policies which are governed by RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, right? What is the two rates, that is deferred repo rate, CSR rate, or loan rate, whatever banks are providing us, what are right? That comes under monetary policies. Fiscal policy is maintained by Government of India, right? So there are two policies basically prevailing in India, that is monetary policy and physical policy. Here, you just understand the little bit because this is a proper topic in the coming syllabus. Then we will cover in a broader way. Okay. Here you just understand that the physical and monetary policies, where technically it is a part of economic environment, but these policies are framed by the government, so it comes under government policies also, right? And the political parties also. Because of the government change, the RBI's rule regulation change, physical policy also changes. So that's why it comes under the political environment also. Okay. Technically, it is a part of physical and monetary policies, a part of economic environment. Next, subsidies and incentives. Government may offer subsidies, tax incentives, or grants to promote investment in certain industries or regions. As you all know, that in country India, government gives subsidies to the agricultural department, right? There are tax incentives also. Whenever you file an ITR, there are some criteria. If you there are some deductions given, right? If you use those deductions, you can have a tax benefits also. For example, if you start a company and use a debt more, then that is taxable free, right? That is non-taxable. So these are the things that are tax incentives you get. Is it clear to everyone? Ma'am, please explain to again antitrust law. We'll explain in the last, right? Last 5 minutes, we will explain the remaining topic. Abhi jo padhaya hai, let me know facilitating role is clear to everyone. Let me know facilitating role is clear to everyone. Please mention in the chat box. Example of what? Last one is subsidies and incentives. That is benefits given by a government of India to different industries or regions, right? To promote that industries. For example, in India, subsidies are given to agriculture department, or their tax incentives were also given to, if you come under that slab rate or you come under that, you can avail that those tax incentives also. Next, supervisory role. Ensuring compliance. Government ensures business follow established laws and regulations through monitoring and enforcement agencies. For example, such as SEBI. You all have heard the name of Security and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, or Safety and Standards Authority of India, right? So there are some boards, agencies are established, right, which facilitates the functioning of the market. For example, you all have heard the case of Harshad Mehta, right? If you have not heard the case of Harshad Mehta, so please go and search on the net today. Today's task, right? You get to know how it affects the proper shares market, right? तो कैसे वहां पे एक बहुत बड़ा क्राइम टाइप हुआ था हर्षद मेहता केस में, right? So these are the exchange SEBIs or FSSAI. There are some types of agencies which are run by the government to promote the welfare of the public and ensures that the functionings are going according to the set rules and regulations of the prescribed agencies like SEBI. Okay. Next, consumer protection. This enforces that consumers from unfair practices like fraud, unsafe products, or false advertising. Consumer protection helps us that it ensures that there is a law called Consumer Protection Act, which ensures that public should not, consumers should not be harmed in any way like unfair practices like fraud, unsafe products, or false advertising. So it ensures that consumer welfare is maintained by the business, right? Is it clear to everyone? Mic issue. Give me a minute, class. Give me a minute. I request all the students, you are all mature enough. Please maintain the decorum of the class. My voice is clear to each and everyone. I know very clearly. Right? So the students who are really serious about the studies, who are really serious about the class, please make sure that they should not be affected, right? So please maintain the decorum. Next, legal framework, right? That comes under legal environment. We have just completed our political environment, right? Now we are going to start legal environment, right? Legal framework in India. India's legal framework, you know, there are some laws prevailing in the country. According to that law, you have to maintain your business rules and regulation. You have to follow that, right? For business, you have if you have a company, whether public company, private company, or one company, right? You have heard right. There is a one company also, 1% company. A single person, single individual can also run a company. If you have not heard this word before, so please go and search. Here it is not a complete topic, so I'm not going in the depth of the topic. Just I'm telling you basic things that if you are operating a public company, if you're operating a private company, or a one single person company, you have to go through the legal laws, that is Companies Act 2013. You have to follow all the government ensures incorporation, functioning, dissolution of a company, each and everything mentioned in the Companies Act 2013. In the legal environment, you have to just ensure that you have to follow all the work which is prescribed in the law, right? If you are doing a partnership, then you have to follow the Partnership Act 1932. You have to know the rights and duties of a partner according to the given law, that is Partnership Act 1932. Next, Limited Liability Partnership LLP Act 2008. This is a company, this is a hybrid company where you have the features of partnership plus company. Like this is called Limited Liability Partnership, LLP Act 2008. LLP was created in 2008 where some features of Companies Act is given and combination of Companies Act features and Partnership Act features, right? So in limited liability, because in Companies Act, shareholders or have only right up to the limited liability, right? Now in limited liability, the one who is holding the particular share, he has the right according to the shares he holds, right? But in the Partnership Act, there is an unlimited liability. If your company, if your business got failed and you have more liability on you, then you have to pay from your home also, from your personal belonging also, right? So there's a two types of basically three types of laws according to business. That is, first is Companies Act, second is Partnership Act, third is Limited Liability Partnership Act, that is LLP Act 2008, right? Is it clear to everyone? The one, please mention the relevant things only in chat, right? LLP ones. Okay. See, in legal environment, there is a legal framework or laws which are prevailing in a country and you have to follow that, right? First, business law. Under business law, there are three laws. If you are having a company, whether public, private, or one single company, then you have to follow Companies Act 2013, right? If you are doing a partnership business, you have to register under Partnership Act 1933. Third, last one is limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership is a hybrid business company that is combination of business, partnership business plus companies, right? So it is called Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Next is intellectual property rights. The Patent Act, the copyright, the trademark, right? You have seen in many books that the copyright is given. बहुत सारी in novels, in fiction books, or in non-fiction book, any book, you will find in many books that copyright is mentioned, right? What does this mean? That this book is protected, right? The literature, the music, whatever art, or no one can use that things in any way, in any other respect without the permission. So for that, the people take Copyright Act. They have to register their literature, their music, their art, original works, right? Authorships, the original works to protect the original works. The people registered in the Copyright Act, right? Second, the ones inventions or innovations are granting by patent right. They registered under the Patent Act 1970. Okay, the one who want to register their brand names, logos, right? They have to register under Trademark Act 1999. So these are the three intellectual rights which is prevailing in India, and they have to register under three according to their work, right? If there is any inventions or innovations, then they have to register under the Patent Act 1970. If they want to protect their original works like literature, music, they will take the Copyright Act, right? For example, any song of Shah Rukh Khan's movie is a copyright, right? No other film star can use without the permission of Shah Rukh Khan. He has taken that right. Like directors takes copyright. So these are the things, music, art, these all are they register their work under the Copyright Act. Like if a company's brand names, Domino's, M&M, KFC, or any other brand, right? They protect registers under the Trademarks Act, so that no other company, no other people can use their trademark, right? Because it's their symbol, their company's representation. They don't want to spoil that goodwill. So they registered under the Trademark Act, right? 1999, right? Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? I'm asking you, the topic is clear or not? Fine. Big law, it's very vast law. And here it is not that much applicable. Here you don't have to go in any depth. Okay, which law says what are their importance, what are the rules, regulations are there? No. Here you just have to recall that legal environment is related to the laws which is applicable in a country. Like there is a business law. Only key points are important. That will help you to give the answers in a, whether an examiner asks you in a true false, or in MCQ form, or in match of the following, in any form. Like you should know that which law is created in which year. They can ask you, the Indian contract is established in when? 1873, 1871, in 1872. So you should know that, right? I think it is a mixture of both MCQ and subjective also. Uh, from in next class, I'll make sure that I will take some questions also in your class, right? From next week, that is from next lecture of business environment, which I will definitely bring some questions that can be asked in your exams. Okay, I think that will be more benefit to you also. Please explain in Hindi also. They are actually I'm using very normal English, not any difficult words I am using. I'll try that दोनों languages में मैं पढ़ाऊँ so that both students, the one who only understand English is also able to understand और जो हिंदी में समझते हैं वो भी easily समझ रहे, right? Next is labor law. Labor law consists of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, Factories Act 1948, Employees Provident Funds Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1950. Right? You need to know only this. You don't have to go in depth also, right? Environmental law that is related to protect the environment and pollution control. You know if factory is established in the city, in the main city, then it will harm whole environment, right? So you should ensure that while you are just starting or manufacturing industry should be located in that area, that it will not harm the whole city. It should be use those it should use the precautions, and it should use the process that will not much harm the pollution, and the pollution should be controlled, environment should be controlled, not much harm. So these are the steps you should have to take in your business, right? This is clear to everyone. Is it clear to everyone? Right. Let's move further. Last is economic environment in India. We have completed just political environment, legal environment. Now it is our economic environment in India. I already told you in our previous classes, whenever you heard of the word economy, इसका मतलब होता है पैसे से money. यहाँ तो money आ रहा है, money is coming, money is going, cash flow, inflow, anything, but it will relate to the money, right? Now we are talking about the country's money, right? So first is economic system. First, you should know that in your country, which economic system is prevailing. Is it capitalism or socialism or mixed economy? India comes under mixed economy, right? Before moving further, let me remind you that these three things. There are three economic systems. One is capitalism. Second is socialism. Third is mixed economy, right? Capitalism means owned by private sector. कैपिटलिज्म वो इकोनॉमी है जहां पे प्राइवेट सेक्टर का रोल मैक्सिमम होता है. एवरीथिंग इज प्रिवेलिंग इन द हर एक चीज प्राइवेटली ओन है. प्राइवेट कंपनीज, प्राइवेट सेक्टर, मतलब टोटली प्राइवेट सेक्टर है पूरी कंट्री, राइट? तो कैपिटलिज्म इज ओन एंड rule of government by private sector only, right? Socialism, government owned, no private rule, no private sector, right? No private sector. Everything is owned and controlled by government. Okay. Mixed. A combination of both capitalism and socialism. India is an example of mixed economy. In a country, there are some sectors which are owned by private. There are some sector which is owned by government. That and promoted to work to invest in foreign investments, right? To promote the foreign investment. Make in India initiative was taken to promote domestic manufacturing, reduce imports, boosting employment and exports. Is it clear? See, industry policies after the policy which was created in 1991 was liberalized, was giving the freedom to reduce the government control over the industry, right? It ensures that privatization was promoted, manufacture should be promoted to work to go for foreign investments also. Make in India initiative was taken by Modi government only, so that domestic manufacturing will be done. If in our country we will manufacture more goods, it will give more employment. It will help us to get, it will reduce imports so that foreign investment will, more money will not go outside India, right? So this all initiatives were taken so that the more money will come, more foreign investment should be come in our country and employment should be generated. So these steps were taken. You don't have to go in depth. Industrial policy is one of the subject you have to study somewhere in your masters, right? So it is not here, it is not mandatory, it is not compulsory, and they will not ask in-depth question from here. I bet you. They will ask what is economic environment. You have to just mention these keywords. Don't go in depth any topic. It is not, you should know the meaning, you should know the difference between legal, political. The topics which will be coming in your exam in depth, I know very well, we will cover in a broader way only. Don't worry at all. Okay? Just believe in your teachers, believe in yourself. Whatever will be I will going to teach you, that will definitely help you in your exam. Is it clear? A trust should be maintained between the two parties, right? If I'm here just to give you a good content, quality content, right? That will help you in your exam, in your life. Okay, so you don't have to go what is industry policy, what is the rules. You don't have to go, you just know the basics, right? Next, monetary policy. I told you earlier in today's class only that monetary fiscal policy come also under political environment. Why? Because these are affected by the which government is regulating in a country. In India, which government is, right? I'm not going in political stuff, but I'm just making you the little bit difference. Why it is mentioned here also and there also, right? So monetary policy, which is regulated by RBI, which is the Apex Bond Regulation, Apex Bank of India, right? RBI, which controls the monetary policies, inflation, liquidity, credit. It set the repo rate, interest rate, at which RBI links to commercial banks, reverse repo rate, open market competitions, buy and sells government securities. So, देखो, monetary policy comes under the RBI, right? First thing. Secondly, monetary policy controls the inflation, deflation, right? It controls the liquidity of money which is prevailing in the market. पैसा कहाँ से आ रहा है, कहाँ जा रहा है, कैसे रेगुलेट करना है वो इकोनॉमी में, दैट इज controlled and governed by the RBI, comes under the monetary policy. Is it clear? There are two, micro and macro level. Open market comes under macro level, where government securities are buy and sells in the market, right? So monetary policy is basically related to RBI, comes under the RBI, maintained by RBI, controlled by RBI, and whatever rules, regulations regarding inflation, deflation, liquidity, credit, it's all over control. Is it clear to everyone? Next is physical policy. Physical policy will influence the economy by adjusting taxation, public spending, and borrowing. When you talk about government's income, if I say in a layman language in a simple words, you will never heard this line before, or you will read somewhere. It is just a way of communicating, just to make a difference, just make a easy way to understand. Physical policy is what government is choosing the money, the way he is using the money, right? For example, government is purchasing something for country, is borrowing, is selling. So, जो पैसा तब money government is holding and government is doing transactions, that comes under physical policy. जो पैसा गवर्नमेंट के पास है, गवर्नमेंट यूज कर रहा है इकोनॉमी को, चाहे वो टैक्सेशन के फॉर्म में ले रहा हो या कहीं बेच रहा हो, किसी से बोरो कर रहा हो, वो जो गवर्नमेंट का जो बजट बनता है, दैट कम्स अंडर फिजिकल पॉलिसी, राइट? वेदर जीएसटी, indirect taxation, multiple taxes, simple system, whatever tax that is coming to the government, पैसा गवर्नमेंट के पास आ रहा है, गवर्नमेंट पैसा को यूज कर रहा है, किसी से बोरो कर रहा है, तो गवर्नमेंट का जो बजट बन रहा है, दैट कम्स अंडर फिजिकल पॉलिसी. Is it clear to everyone? Thus, in the simplest way, I can just budget is not related to here, not in your syllabus right now. It is not a part of your business environment. देखो, पहली बात तो रेपो रेट, रिवर्स रेपो रेट, ये सब इज नॉट अ पार्ट, but still I explain because it's a basic you should know, right? You should be aware of basic things. General knowledge is a part of general knowledge. Repo rate is a rate at which RBI gives loan to the banks for short term. It's called repo rate. Like reverse repo rate, when bank gives loan, right? When commercial bank provides loan to the RBI, just opposite of repo rate. Is it clear? And it is clearly mentioned in the here also, the interest rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks. Okay. Next is foreign trade policy. India encourages exports, regulates imports through policies that grant duties, exemption, tax rebates, and export incentives. The ones who are doing the trade transactions, foreign trade, right? Import-export works. The companies who are doing the import-export works, right? So they have to follow the rules and regulations of foreign trade policy. It is a different policy which is prevailing in India, where they have to follow the rules and regulations, the law properly about the tax rebates, exemptions, rebates, what are their incentives for export and imports. These are mentioned and these are maintained by the foreign trade policies. that comes under foreign trade policies. Okay, there are special economic zones which comes, excuse me. So for the ones who are doing a export import work comes have to follow the rules and regulations under the foreign trade policies. Like there's some areas which are regulated and promoted by special, they comes under special economic zones, right? They will offer tax incentives. You don't have to go in depth. These are the particular subjects. Do you believe monetary policy, physical policy, foreign trade policy? It is not only a chapter. Excuse me. You have to just understand which subject needs and what level of, you should know which subject needs what type of mindset to do, to learn, to understand that subject relevant to the topic that helps you for that particular area only. Right? Is it clear to everyone? These three, say, monetary policy, physical, and foreign trade policy. Is it clear to everyone? Please mention in the chat box. We are running short of time, please. Foreign trade policy simply means that is related to export import. Simple meaning, right? Explain again, लिख दिया. What should I explain again? Let me know. There are some specific zones which are given by the foreign trade policy. If you are working, if you are exporting, importing in that zone, then you will get more tax benefits. Right? That is for special economic zones. Let's move further. FDI. You all have heard this word, foreign direct investment, right? There are some norms in many sectors like telecommunication, e-commerce, defense. And right up to 100% FDI in certain areas for automatic route, right? FDI reforms, simply FDI is a policy. India has given some liberalization, some freedom to telecommunication department, e-commerce, defense, to allow them to do 100% FDI, foreign direct investments. There are some reforms of policies which are created. If you want to invest in foreign, if you want to do foreign investments, you can have to follow. You have to follow those reforms, right? You have to follow those reforms, right? Next, labor policy, a policy which is created for labor's benefits to protect the rights of workers, balancing the needs of employees, and maintain the productivity in competitions. Right? Is it? It is easy, right? Labor policy is easy. Easy. Next, economic reform, 1991. Very, very important. Economic reform is very, 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 very important. After independence, the condition of a country was not that much good, right? Before 1991, the economic system was not good. In 1991, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was economist, has introduced LPG, had introduced LPG concept. That is liberalization, privatization, globalization. Liberalization means to reduce the role of government and give liberty and freedom to do business, right? In today's time, if you talk about today, You don't need to go to government to take permission to start business. Exceptions are there. We have earlier studied in the first topic, right? That you need license for a particular type of business like alcohol, arms, and two more three things are there list of 5-10 item business. For that you need a license. Apart from those exemptions, if you want to do any kind of business, you just have to start. You don't have to take any government permission to start a business, right? So this concept was introduced under the Economic Reform 1991 by the Dr. Manmohan Singh. First is liberalization. Second, in privatization, it introduced the concept of privatization that there should not there should be private entities also. Everything, every sector should not be controlled by government only. There should be privatization also. Private companies should also be promoted. For that, privatization concept was created. Last one is globalization. That India should not work within the country, it should work in the whole country globally. That in nowadays you can do business with any country in any state, right? In any country you can do a business, right? You have to just follow the rules and regulations and you can do. For that, it helps to reduce the trade barriers between the two countries, helps to encourage the foreign investments and technological transfers. So in globalization, you can work globally, right? Privatization, private sectors were liberalization, freedom or license was given. License fee was there that you have to just take license for these particular areas. Apart from those exemptions, you don't have to take any license authority. Right? Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Fine. Most of the students have mentioned that it is clear. In the last, I've given a one chart, right? As you can see on the screen, this is a difference between economic environment, legal environment, and political environment. This chart will help you to give, this chart will give you a good understanding and a good difference between these three topics. And it is important. Real life example of what, which topic? I think I'm already giving you that. Please let me know about which topic you want a real life example. Fifth and sixth point, wait. FDI and labor policy. In simple meanings, to promote the foreign direct investment, government India has given a liberalized of freedom to many sectors like telecommunication, e-commerce, defense, allow them to do 100% FDI in certain areas, right? They have given the rules. They just are doing the things to promote foreign investment, ease of that will help you to do and promote the business, to do the business more efficiently, right? In simple words, if I say, I will say that for government is just promoting the government or encouraging government is just encouraging the public so that they will come and promote the FDI, right? Labor policy is basically a policy which is framed by the government to maintain and protect the labor's rights of workers, employees, and productivity and competitions, so that no one gets harmed or no, right? So it is basically that to maintain a good balanced life in the manufacturing industry. Physical policy का मतलब है, physical policy just means that a government is spending, government how they are taking, how they are using the money economy में, how much money they are. Yes, it is important. Economic reforms means whenever you heard this word economic reforms, only 2-3 minutes express questions will take in the doubt clearing sections, right? 1991, three things were introduced. LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Liberalization means freedom to do business. Exemptions are there for where you have to take a license, right? Privatization means given opportunity to work privately, right? Globalization, do business globally, treat whole as a one market, whole world as a one market, right? Now, I hope, is it clear right now? अब क्लियर है आपको? Okay, so there are lots of messages are coming. It was not possible for me to give each and everyone. But in doubt clearing session, I promise you to give all the clear all your doubts. Right, students? In this class, I tried many questions. I tried to solve many questions of yours. So hopefully we will meet in the next